I'm now ready to add my layer styles to my layer. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure I'm selected on my Move tool. I'm going to come to the layer that I want to affect. So by clicking on that layer, I'm going to see that in my Layers panel, I am now selected on that layer. I can see that no other layers are selected. So I know exactly which layer I'm going to put the effect on. To add a layer style, I'm going to come into this extra gray area here, and I'm going to double click. This is going to open us up with our Layer Styles panel. I like to move this so I can make sure that I can see the layer that I'm working with. We can see that all of the different types of styles are presented right here. We're going to start with working with a drop shadow. So to apply a drop shadow, I'm going to make sure that I click on the actual word drop shadow, so that way it appears and I have all of the options to change for it. With layer styles, this is kind of an area where you just want to play with the different sliders and see the different types of effects that you're creating. So we can see by changing the distance, it's going to change where it's positioned. Spread's going to change how it looks. Size is going to show you how far it kind of spreads. We also have our opacity here. We can drop that down so that way it's not as intense. Now, I feel like our angle and our distance are kind of hard to judge working in just this panel here. So a nice option that Photoshop allows us to do is we're able to take our cursor, hover out on our workspace, and I'm able to click and drag. And that's going to choose, and it's going to slide those pieces around for me so that way I can have them kind of positioned to exactly where I'm happy. Once I'm happy with that layer style, I'm going to click OK. We're going to see that now in our Layers panel, we've added an effect, we've added a drop shadow. And if I ever want to change it, if I decided that it was too intense, I can double click on the word drop shadow. It's going to pop up with our Layer Styles panel again, and I'm able to drop the opacity, or I'm able to change the spread, or I'm able to change the size. We're able to modify and tweak this forever. It's a completely non-destructive edit. So I'm going to click OK. Now, since this is a reference guide that we're going to be including in our sketchbook, I'm going to come in with my text tool. I'm going to hover right above it. I'm going to change my font to about size 14 so it's a lot smaller, and I'm going to label it, so drop shadow. Now we can see it's kind of falling off our space. No problem, just grab our Move tool, we can click, and we can drag it over to make it fit right above. Now with these layers, you can always come in and change the color of it if you feel like it needs to be a little bit darker, so that way you're able to see those. We're not applying the actual effects to those. So we're going to continue with our assignment, and we're just going to go through and apply different layer styles to each different layer. So I'm going to come in with my Move tool, select my next layer, come out to the edge again, double click, and then we can work our way up. So I can come to this one and I can apply an outer glow. Do know that some of these you're going to have to play with quite a bit to start to kind of see it. Once we're happy with it, we can click OK, and then we'll continue with the idea of taking our text tool, clicking above, dropping the size down, change the color again so that way we can see it nice, take our Move tool, and we're going to position that. So for this assignment today, you guys are going to continue to explore all of the different types of layer styles that we have available. For the bevel and emboss, just worry about doing the bevel and emboss. Don't worry about the contour and the texture yet.